we're going to go right into Josh, who's going to sort through how the case developed,
Yes.
what it's all about, and will there be some challenges in terms of prosecuting? That was about 4 questions all in one for you, Josh. But what's your take?
So let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
This case is about a specific conversation involving former FBI Director James Comey when he was giving congressional testimony in 2019, and it was in response to a question that Ted Cruz asked him specifically about whether or not he authorized somebody to leak information to the New York Times about Loretta Lynch and whether or not she was compromised to investigate the Hillary Clinton email scandal. Where
Wow, this really goes back in time.
Does. Wow.
Yeah. So this has nothing to do with Russiagate, and actually the leak in question would have actually helped Trump. So that's really interesting. So the reason why that this is being brought now is because the statute of limitations is 5 years. And in this case, they brought the indictment 5 days before the statute of limitations was going to run. But there's some drama around this.
Okay.
So the acting U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, where this case originates, because that's where the testimony came from, informed Pam Bondi, the attorney general, that he didn't think that there was a reasonable likelihood of conviction and that he wasn't going to bring charges. And Pam Bondi didn't like that. And she didn't like how he just brought this information days before the statute of limitations was going to run. So he was fired. And a new acting U.S. attorney for that district was inserted. And that person just happened to be one of President Trump's personal attorneys who specializes in insurance law. This person has never done anything criminal, yet she did present the case before a grand jury. And there were 3 original counts. And the grand jury actually came back and said, we're not going to indict him on the first count. We'll indict him on the last 2, but not the first one. This is important because there's an old saying that you can indict a ham sandwich. And if that's true, that means that this was even worse than a ham sandwich on count 1. Okay, but now I've read the indictment. And as a federal prosecutor, I've charged perjury before. And it's a very difficult charge to prove. And I'll tell you why. So in this case, the indictment itself is so bare bones that it's impossible to tell exactly what the illegal conduct was. You have to do your own research to go back and see that it's referring to the Ted Cruz situation regarding Hillary Clinton, who's person number 1 in the indictment. Wink, wink. And that's a problem. And so the defense is going to file a motion to dismiss for a faulty indictment because an indictment has to have enough information to tell a defendant what exactly they did wrong. And there's another problem with this, and that is that it says that James Comey authorized somebody working for the FBI to leak this information to the New York Times. And there just is no evidence of that, at least that's been presented. And there isn't enough information in the indictment to actually make that case. So I'm concerned for the prosecutors that they're going to lose before this even gets to trial,
right?
Because the case is so bare bones. And I'd also like to point out that the judge in this case was a Joe Biden appointee and could be friendly to the James Comey situation.